Hi friends, it's Mari from Mari Harai Archives, and today it is about that time. I have been really thinking it through on how I'm going to start 2026, and we're going to set that up today. So I'm super excited that we're going to start doing this because I have been really enjoying my Hobonichi weeks. And so I haven't really been thinking about this as far as setting it up until around now, because I just really want to be present with my Hobonichi weeks. So let's get into it. Okay, so like I had mentioned, I am currently using the Hobonichi weeks. This is what I've been using the whole year, and I am really, really proud of myself. I actually started using the Hobonichi weeks on and off for several years since 2017, and it really never stuck, the journaling habit, until recently. I want to say towards the end of 2024 coming into 2025, and I'm just so proud of myself that I have been able to stick with this journaling habit. I made a decision back, I believe in October of 2024, that I really wanted to put in effort to make this journaling habit stick and journal daily. I wouldn't say like journal, because I don't journal every single day. I would say document my days. And I found a way that resonated with me to where I was able to stick with this habit. And coming into December 2025, I've been sticking with this documenting since a little bit over, let's see, I think October, December. So about 15 months now, which I'm very, very, very excited and so proud of myself. Now, I've noticed that if I don't start on January 1, for some reason, I fall off. And so I kind of knew about that, about myself, when it comes to that. And that's the reason why when I decided to start really focusing on the habit of journaling, I didn't start on January 1, 2025. I actually started a few months before January, which was October 2024. And I really think it tricks my psyche, my mind, to like kind of get a head start. And by January 1, I'm already 3 months in, so it doesn't feel like a jolt, if that makes sense. And so with that concept, I decided to do the same thing for a new habit that I'm going to start in 2026, and something that I'm going to put more effort in, since now that I have the journaling habit down packed, and it's more of something that I need to do now and that I enjoy. And so I don't have to like focus so hard like I used to. And so I think for 2026, I am really looking forward to more creative freedom, because in 2025, like I had mentioned, it's more of creating the habit and keeping that habit. And so for me, knowing me, if it was too overcomplicated, that most likely it wouldn't stick. And so I kept everything simple in my Hobonichi weeks. I gave each section a specific role, and those roles, I made sure that it was something that resonated with me as far as what I wanted to track, because in the past, what I would do is that I would see other people tracking different things, and in my mind I'm like, that is pretty cool, I want to do that, but it didn't necessarily fit my lifestyle or how I lived my life. And so it kind of felt like homework, and so I always ended up not completing it. I would stop after maybe like a month or so, or maybe even less. And so knowing that, I decided, okay, I need to just track the things that I'm already doing, and something that I like. That way it wasn't too hard, or it didn't felt like it was so much effort to make it happen, almost like feeling like checking the boxes. And that's not what I wanted this journaling habit for me. Like, I really wanted it to feel natural and feel like it reflected exactly what was going on in my life, and I wasn't doing something just to do it, if that makes sense. And so with that said, so for 2025, a lot of my things were simplified. I kept my my pages pretty much the same. Not saying that I didn't have much creativity. I did that with my stickers and lettering. But I kept kind of the layout all the same throughout the year. And so before we get into 2026, I guess let's just go over how I had set up for 2025, and then we'll talk more about the 2026. And so this is what I meant about my 2025, keeping it simple, making sure that each section had its role, and the role in itself was something that I could sustain, for a longer period of time. And like I said, that it was something that was of interest for me, not something that I was doing because I saw someone do it. And so like if we go into the monthlies, at first I was tracking our media, like that we consumed, like our TV shows and movies, but I noticed that we were putting a little bit more effort about cooking at home, doing new recipes, learning more skills and knowledge in the kitchen. And so that was a goal of mine, personal goal of mine. And so I knew that logging in our dinners would be a great way to utilize this monthly spread. And so that is what I did for my monthly spreads. And so throughout the year, it was really, really simple for me to keep up, and I enjoyed, and it served a purpose. And so now I have this lovely little archive of dinners that we've had day after day. And so I really enjoyed using the monthly spread for that. And so this topic still is very much important to me. I still love to continue to learn and do new recipes and try out new things, and constantly evolving in this aspect, because it's very important in our lives, obviously, because we need to eat. And so for 2026, I definitely will be doing this in the monthly section. And so, I mean, as I flip through this, it's quite satisfying to see all the meals, because those are the kind of the details that we tend to forget, right? Like, we don't really pay attention to that. It's just kind of zombie mode, like, yeah, we gotta eat dinner. And so we don't really pay attention to this. And so just being able to put that little piece of time right here in these little boxes is pretty cool. And so I will be continuing to do that for 2026. And then for my weekly pages, now obviously I'm going from a Hobonichi weeks to an A6 Techo, a Hobonichi A6 Techo. And so I will not have the weekly pages, I will have daily pages now. And I think the daily pages will allow me to express more creatively when it comes to my journaling styles. But like I had mentioned earlier, the reason why I did it this way in my weeks and I had kind of the same layout every week was just to keep me going forward in creating that journaling habit. And so as I turn to these pages, so these monthly spreads right here are actually test layouts that I wanted to do for my Hobonichi weeks. And so I haven't been in an A6 Techo for a while, and so if there are extra monthly pages, I will be doing that as far as layout testing. Well, not so much layout testing because I already know what I'm going to be doing for my monthly pages. This obviously was, me trying to figure out how I was going to do my monthly pages. I even thought about tracking my workouts. I had my meal plan and all that stuff, but obviously all of this just felt too complicated in the scheme of things, and so I kept it simple and just did dinners. And so I don't think I need to do this, as I've already established what I'm going to be doing for my monthly pages. But it's nice to have this because then I could also look back and see, like, if ever there comes a time where I want to do something different with my monthly pages, I will have this to kind of look back on. And actually, I have a Hobonichi Weeks. It's an older Hobonichi Weeks that I didn't finish using because I was on and off with the Hobonichi Weeks. But this is what so I kind of converted it into my layout testing and ideas. So whenever I feel like I want to kind of test out how to do a weekly layout or a page layout or a monthly spread, this is kind of my go-to. And so this is where I kind of mark this off because it has personal information, but this is where I would test out different layouts. And it's kind of nice because now I have, if I ever need kind of inspiration or I want to look back on something, I have this to kind of show me the different layouts that I did in the past. And then when I'm testing things out again, because, it has the pages, this is what, I would do. And it's just kind of nice to have. And here, this is me testing out how I will split up the weeks. So it's a really nice reference planner. I highly recommend if you have an old Hobonichi Weeks or have an old planner laying around that has sections like a monthly, a weekly or daily or blank pages, I would probably highly recommend maybe having a little reference planners for layouts and ideas when it comes to planning. So this is something that I will definitely probably copy this into here just so it's in here and I'm not like looking around everywhere. But I highly recommend if you have an extra one. I'm pretty sure you have an extra one if you're like me. We always have extra notebooks, but it's great to have a little reference book like that. Okay, let's see what else. And then also and I will be doing this on my 2026 as well, but one of the extra monthly spreads, it's usually the next year. So in 2026 it'll be the 2027 monthly. I don't know how many extras I have in there, but it will be my little swatch ink testing for whatever I'm using in my 2026. So in this case, these were pens that I was using in my Hobonichi Weeks, and I tested it to make sure that like it's good. Some of them was not. This is the 2025. So the paper wasn't it's not as good as past. And so from what I'm hearing, the 2026 is a lot better. But it really didn't matter for me because of the way I documented in my weekly spreads, if it was ghosting or bleeding, because it would just get covered up anyways with stickers. So it wasn't like a deal breaker for me. But I can only imagine if you are writing and it was constantly like this, that would suck. So I will be doing this as well in my 2026. I will be swatching the pens as I use them, just to make sure that it's good to go. Okay, now if we go into now the weekly spread, and this is what I mean is that every single day was the same as far as layouts go. I did, like I had mentioned, I did that on purpose because I just wanted to focus on creating that habit, and I wanted to not be so complicated. And so in my days, as you can see, it was kind of like everything was in its line, its boxes. And as the days went by, I started, getting my groove and just realizing like, oh, I really like how this looks. And as the days went, it just kind of got looser and looser as far as like not really paying attention to the lines. And in some cases, I added different elements, like the weather towards the end, which I will be keeping also in my 2026 journal. But even though my layout stayed the same, I felt like, with the choices of, because every week I would choose a different color for the markers and the pens, and then of course like my lettering, I felt that that's where I had kind of creative freedom, that I allowed myself to have creative freedom, because I know myself, if it's just too much for me, it probably won't stick. And so this had allowed me to express my creativity by choosing the stickers and then placing, just doing the different colors of the markers and the lettering. And so this was really, really fun. And despite it being the same layout every week by week, I never got bored, just because I love stickers, and I use different stickers each day. And I think that's very, very important if you are starting a journaling habit, is to start out slow and start out with something that you enjoy, and start out, if you are someone who don't like stickers, then don't start with stickers, because that's just going to overwhelm you, right? And then you probably most likely will not be motivated to stick to your journaling habit. But if you're someone who enjoys lettering or drawing, stickers, start with that and then go from there. That's one thing that I've learned in my case is, like I mentioned, I don't want to overcomplicate things. And so I keep my base really simple, not so overcomplicated, and then just focus on the things that really made me happy and brought joy. And in this case, it was lettering and stickers and just documenting, my everyday. And then when we get to the back pages, now this is where what really clicked for me, because I felt like when you are to create a journaling habit, you have to journal every single day. Now, I feel like even if you have a journaling habit, that's still not the case. There's really no rules when it comes to journaling. It's supposed to serve you, right? You're not supposed to serve journaling. It's supposed to serve you. And, it's a tool for you to utilize in your life. And so when I first started journaling, I felt like I am not a journaler if I don't journal every single day. And so it's one of those things, it's like all or nothing kind of mindset. And so I think that played in the role of me, not keeping with journaling. And when I kind of took away that mindset and said, you know what, I'm just going to journal. So when I got rid of that mindset, and just said, you know what, I'm just going to journal when I feel like I'm going to journal, that kind of changed the game for me, because now there was like no pressure for me to like, oh, I have to put words on my paper or it doesn't count kind of thing. And so when I decided to, I do enjoy documenting my day, like writing down the things that we did. And so with me doing that every week, just the little mundane things, the things that happen every single day, because currently in my life, I don't really do much. And so a lot of my day-to-day things are the most exciting things that are happening, like going to Aldi or going to grab Wingstop or dropping the kids off. That's my life. And so because that's my life, I felt like, oh, maybe it's not important enough to put on paper, but honestly, it's very important. And so once I got that mindset, using my weekly pages like this and just documenting those, things that happen every single day, and then allowing me to journal maybe the bigger things or some things that are like, oh, this was exciting and this was kind of out of the ordinary. I can journal more about that. And so that's what I used my back pages for. And I loved this setup because of the fact that, one, it gave me freedom to journal whenever I wanted to. Like, there was no pressure for me to like always have to put, a paragraph on the page. But two, it kind of overflowed from, my current documenting to, like, if I want to talk a little bit more about that day, I can. And if it's just one paragraph, that's cool. If it takes up 2 pages, that's cool too. And so these back pages really allowed me that freedom to journal how I see fit and how it flowed with my life day to day. Because like I said, I don't want it to feel like homework, right? And so doing this way has helped me enjoy journaling. And like I had mentioned, you want to start a habit and you want to enjoy it. And at the beginning, it felt like homework because I felt like I had to do it every single day. But because I didn't have to do it every single day and I only had to do it when I felt like it, like now it's one of those things where I'm okay if I have 3 or 4 journal entries in a month. That's okay. And so I've really enjoyed journaling this way. And so for 2026 now, because I will have daily pages, I feel like I will be writing a little bit more, but that's okay because I feel for me that I will enjoy writing a little bit more. And I think that is the key when it comes to creating this journaling habit, is that you do something that you enjoy. And then if you don't enjoy it in the beginning, that's fine, as long as you're honest with yourself. Because I've mentioned many times in my videos that I'm just not a writer. I don't enjoy writing. But as each day goes by and as I fill these journals, I've noticed that writing isn't so bad and that it's okay, if I can fill 2 pages, something that I don't think I was able to do because I felt like I felt like when I would write, it was like kind of the same thing over and over again. And so if you hear tap dancing, that's my dog. He's tap dancing. And so, and every time I hear his little clickety clack, I'm like, it kind of throws me off. But anyways, what was I saying? So yeah, so like I had mentioned many times in my past videos that I was not a writer, which is the reason why I formatted my journal or my Hobonichi weeks this way. And as each day goes, as each month goes, and I'm writing, I'm like, it's not so bad, and so for 2026, I can expect a little bit more writing, and I'm okay with that. And it happened when it should have happened, organically, naturally, in my little journaling journey. And so I think that's what I've learned a lot in the past year, especially in my Hobonichi weeks, when it comes to like the style I like, just understanding a little bit more of why I'm journaling and making sure that this habit brings me joy and it's not something, to check the boxes or to show people. Because first and foremost, all of this stuff is for me. Everything that I do is for me when it comes to this. It's not to show or tell. It's it's more like I'm bringing you guys into my world, and this is what's happening. And so I think that's the most important thing to remember, because I know there's a lot of people who's probably starting their journaling habit. and everybody's journey is different. And so, but what I've learned in just the past year has been really, really good and really eye-opening for myself, growth in myself. And so I'm really, really looking forward to journaling in a different planner. And when I say different, it's not like I've never journaled in the A6 Techo, because I have, but I feel like a new person. Like, I feel like I'm coming into journaling with a different perspective, with a different experience, and I'm approaching it a little bit more differently than I did in the past, which I'm super thankful for. And so I am excited to start this A6 Techo, this A6 notebook, in a way that I haven't felt when I first started journaling in an A6. And I do have, I've shown this before, and I'll show it again. Let's see. And like I mentioned, it does feel like I've never done this before in an A6, but I have. But like I said, I'm looking at it at a different set of eyes, different perspective, different lens, which is pretty cool. And just to kind of end this portion of it before we get into the 2026 portion, the back pages, this is where I documented our movies and TV shows that we watched. There's one thing that I have learned doing this, is that I will continue to document what we watch, just because, I don't know, it brings me joy, and just writing down the different movies that we watch or TV shows that we watch. I do have a junk journal for movies, and so for 2026 I will actually keep the same format, and I will be doing that in the blank pages of 2026, which I will probably set up the first month with you guys and then go from there. But this is definitely something that I will keep going forward for 2026. And that's pretty much it as far as my 2025 Hobonichi weeks. 2025 was definitely a year of, I don't even know what the word is, discovering, creating a habit. But this whole book has shown me a lot more than I have learned in the past with my other journals and planners. And I am really, really excited to close this out. But at the same time, I'm so sad. I'm not like sad, but just like, I'm still in my in here. Like, I haven't really looked at my 2026 because I still am enjoying this, and I'm kind of savoring every page, because every page is written in. And yeah, I literally have 3 pages left for this Hobonichi weeks for me to journal, so I will be filling that up. And yeah, I just kind of been savoring every day in this planner. But yeah, okay, enough about 2025. And I'm actually pretty sad to put this to sleep for the year, because I won't be using it. But at the same time, I'm actually really excited for 2026 because of what I have. So we'll get into that. So I'm going to go ahead and put away my 2025 Hobonichi weeks, and then we can kind of move forward. Like I had mentioned, I said that I've journaled in the A6 Techo, which I have. These are the A6 Techos that I journaled in, and I'm glad I do have these, because I look back at it and then it kind of gives me an example of, oh, actually this is more of a personal one, but there's only like a couple pages on here that's been written in. So, which goes into my next thing that, well, actually we'll talk about that towards the end. So I have this, there's only like a couple pages written in there. The rest is all blank. And then this one, let's see. So this one has like I want to say maybe like 20 pages filled and the rest are empty. But this is how I used to journal in the A6. This used to be, what was this? This used to be like a fitness tracker at one point. And then it became like a journal. And so this is one thing that I want to do in my A6 is, because one of my goals for 2026 is to draw more. And I used to do it and I loved it, and I will do it for 2026 because now that I've established my journaling habit, I feel like now I can be a little bit more creative and venture into a new habit and get that down. And so this is something what I'm looking at when it comes to how I will be journaling in 2026. Just a little bit different though, and we'll talk more about that later. But yeah, so I'll be doing a lot more journaling, maybe a little bit more writing. So I'm actually looking forward to doing that. And then let's see this one. And again, it's pretty much empty. So I have 3 A6 Techos here that I could have used for 2026, but the reason why this 2026 came into my hands was because there was a cover that I liked. And for this year, they don't sell covers by itself. It came with the Techo. And so when I got the cover, it didn't work out for me. And so I ended up selling the cover, but kept the Techo. And so that's the reason why I have this Techo. So moving forward though, if I decide to continue in an A6, I won't have to buy any. Just like if I ever want to switch back to a Hobonichi Weeks, I still have some Hobonichi Weeks that I've never used from past. That is what I'm going to use. And so I think that's another topic that I will be talking about too in this video towards the end. But yeah, and so here is just some examples that I used. This was for tracking fitness again. And so yeah, I'm actually looking forward to having all this space. It's a little bit more space than the weekly, because the weekly was just like kind of one column per day. And so I'm really looking forward to figuring out what I'm going to do for 2026 each day. So just kind of give you kind of an idea what I did in the past. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, let's get into the 2026. So for 2026, I have this beautiful, it's from the brand, it's a Japanese brand called Anlibe. They have this beautiful A6 leather cover. And then what I have attached to it is this Manual Factory plushie keychain that I got years ago. I want to say 2019 when they came out with this one. But it's meant to look like it's sitting on your notebook. So that's why like you don't see anything in the back. Everything's in the front. So you can't really see his little apron because it's meant to kind of lay flat like so. So I might have to like make a little backpack for him or something so it looks so cute. But either way, so I have this little plushie keychain. And you know what? I just realized this reason why I put this on here, that it kind of continues the theme. So it's kind of like I'm bringing a little bit of my beloved Hobonichi Weeks Traveler's Notebook that I love so much into 2026, because for this one I cut down a Traveler's Notebook, but I've also adorned it with Manual Factory. This is actually a keychain that came all together. And so coming into 2026, I kind of have a little bit of that Manual Factory theme going on. So I put that on there. So I was like, perfect. So even though I will be saying goodbye to this for 2026, and it's going to be sitting on the shelf, I have this. I can always take this off and put it on here, but I think this is perfect because it won't scratch up the leather, because as you can see for this one, it did scratch up the leather, which I'm okay with because it's a traveler's notebook. I feel like it's okay. But for this one, I feel like I need to not be more precious about it, but I didn't want anything scratching it. So But anyway, so this is what it is. It's an A6 leather cover, and it is made of their Toshiki leather. I could be saying it wrong. I'll pop it up on the screen, the actual spelling. But this is a beautiful cover. It has a magnetic closure. It's almost kind of giving like the trifold, but not really. But I just love the magnetic closure, and I love the fact that too that it can actually grow with my Hobonichi Techo, because I know it's gonna get fat, and so I feel like it can handle that. And so that is what and that's one thing that I was thinking of when I was looking for a cover for my Hobonichi Techo. Now I do have some A6 covers, but none that I felt, most of them were zippers, and I felt like it wouldn't be able to grow with my growing Hobonichi, you know, as the days go by. So this was like one of the selling points that I really liked, and the magnetic closure. And I like the fact that it lays really flat. Well, this side not so much, but this side is not where I'm going to be writing on. But I love this. It has like 2 slip pockets. I have it here, and then a little pocket here. This is a very wide pen holder, so this actually holds a thick pen or a fountain pen or 2 small skinny pens. And then we have this little pocket here, and then like a card slot. Now I don't know if I'm gonna be adding something. Maybe I might add, I really love this card. I got this from Peg and Al. It was their business card, but I love the saying on this. I love Roald Dahl, and so I might just keep that right there. I do have other cards as well, so I haven't really thought through about like how I'm going to embellish this part. I might just kind of keep it simple and just keep one card there. And then here is my A6 Techo, and I did a video where I kind of created how to cover my A6 Techo. I did have, actually, let me pull it out really quick. So all I did was, you know those Travelers Company Times newspapers, which, let me go ahead and pull that too. These right here. Now I have a ton of these, and at first I was going to use the exact pages, but the one that I really liked, I only had one copy of, and so I ended up just copying it on a copier and on cardstock, so it's a little bit thicker than paper. And that is what I used, and I just cut it, and so it will fit in the clear cover. So I actually started out with this one right here, and I loved how it looked, but then I was really into this one because I love music, and this has also like movie stuff on there, trip with movies, trip with music, so I felt like that's what I wanted to go with. But then I also pasted it on the inside pages, and then I decided, I had purchased something from Ace Hotel, and I really liked the package that it came in, and it had their stamp, the Ace Hotel stamp on there, and so I just cut that out, and so now this became the cover of it for now until I get tired of it, and then I have other choices. And then I just stuck some Travelers Company diary stickers on here. These were the Ace Hotel stickers that I got. And these are the 2026 Travelers Company diary. So that is what I'm currently decorating for my 2026, and I love how it looks. I love how it looks in this black planner. And then for the first page, I thought about stamping it like I did for my Hobonichi Weeks, because I really like that look. It looked like wallpaper, but I decided on, because at that time it was this cover, and I really liked this, and so I decided to put it on here so I can have both because I really like this. And so that's what I ended up doing. I love the look of it. And so what I'm actually going to do for this one is I'm actually going to put either a clear pocket here or maybe just here. And so I can put the current record that I'm currently listening to here. So maybe like a little clear pocket, or like I'm going to print out like the album cover and then just kind of slip it in the little clear pocket. I think that's what I'm going to do here. A little fun little interactive element that I want to put in my journaling. I just haven't figured out which page I'm going to do it on, if it's going to be on here or on here. I'm still thinking about it, but that is what I'm going to do for this page, or for, you know, my music. And then I just pasted this. Again, it's from the Traveler's Company, or Traveler's Times. I don't have any plans for this. I think I'm just going to leave it as is. At some point, I always felt like I had to do something, but you know what? It's just going to be a reference for a monthly calendar. So I'm not going to do anything. Now, for 2026, for this yearly overview, I didn't have that in the Hobonichi weeks. And so for 2025, I had my fitness stuff separated in a different notebook, which is this right here. And so this is what I use to track my fitness. And so now that we're going into 2026, I feel like I don't need to do that, because now I have a little bit more sections to work with. And so in the Hobonichi weeks, they do have a yearly, but it wasn't, I felt like it wasn't a lot of space. Where is it? Oh, you know what? I think what did I do with it? Oh, I just taped it together because I got tired of looking at it, because it was not, I wasn't doing anything in it. But at first it was supposed to be a reading tracker, and then a finance tracker, and then I tried to do my workouts, but it was just not enough space this way horizontally, and it just didn't work out. So it just never really stuck. So I'm glad to have a little bit more horizontal space in this one. And so this one, I'm actually going to, this will be the workout. This is what I'm going to track my workouts. And so I'm actually going to utilize this space. This is going to be like I'm just going to put the name of the workout that I'm doing. If it's like lower body, upper body, full strength, whatever it is, it's going to be here. So at least I have a little bit more space to write that out. And then probably the last 3 or 4 boxes are going to be just kind of check mark, like drank enough water, if I did yoga, you know, if we walked, you know, that way it's just going to be a check mark. So that is what I'm going to do for this page. And then for the monthly pages, we're going to stick with our dinners. So that's really easy to do. Now, what's different in this one compared to my Hobonichi weeks is that we have this kind of page right here. Now, at first I was gonna do like just write down lines so I can annotate or keep track of the TV shows and movies that we're watching, so it's here. But what I decided to do is that I would probably do it in these blank pages. There is enough pages to do 12 months worth of the TV shows. And so I'm probably going to do the same thing I did for here, where I just put down lines, and then the days I will do for here. And then I actually have enough space also to kind of like rate it. So I probably will do that. And then honestly, I haven't really looked over these extra pages. Again, I feel like this will come to me later on in the year, But I definitely will probably use this as like, if there is like a new movie or a new album or something, that's something that I haven't seen before, that I will write here and I can rate it. You know, if it's food, shopping, whatever, I think I will definitely utilize this page as is. And then for the or actually this is the favorites. So it's, oh, it gives you kind of 2 pages. That's kind of nice. And so yes, I will definitely use the favorites for as is. Timetable. I was thinking of, I do want to start reading my books that I have, and so I think I will maybe use this as my reading log. I do have a reading journal, but I feel like that is more like in depth if I want to talk about it. But this is just to log the books that I've read. So I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. And then my 100, I have no idea. I think I'm going to use this as a wish list. So in 2026, I am definitely doing a no buy year, like a no buy. I would say low buy, but I feel like 2025 was more of a low buy. This year is going to be a no buy because I have more than enough stationery that can last me a couple years. And so this, I think I will use as like a wish list. And then memories, I'll probably keep as is. So I guess that's pretty much, I'll use as is. I think the only thing is I'll use this as a reading log. I can probably write down the title, and when this gets filled up, I can probably or actually no, I could in advance create a layout in Canva or something with all my book titles. That way I could print it on like the book titles, the actual cover, and then print it out on sticker paper and have it ready. So as I read it, I can stick the sticker on here. I think that's what I'm going to do. So that's going to be a project that I will be doing this week. Okay, and so that brings me to that front page. Now, in my Hobonichi weeks, I did like a months and themes where it turned out to like my favorite sticker. I think for this, it's going to be like a little cover page where I'm going to put like a favorite theme or sticker, and then maybe a quote or something to motivate me that month. I think that's what I'm going to use this page as. Now we go into the meat of the journal. Now I do have a lot of space here, and I have so many ideas on how I'm going to set up for my daily pages. And I feel like for me, I'm giving myself permission for each day to be different. Like I don't have to have a set layout like I did in my Hobonichi weeks. It could be different every single day. And I think that's what I'm more excited about for this year, is that being able to just have the space to kind of draw a little bit bigger or write a little bit more or stick more stickers or do stickers and drawing. Like I have that kind of flexibility. And so that is what I am going to do. Now, I'm not going to set this one up because we are not in January 1, but that is my plan for 2026. As far as setting it up, I guess we can go ahead and set this up. And what I'll probably do is there will be no talking. I'll just set that up because I need to concentrate. And then I'll just speed this up for you guys so you can see what I'm doing. And then we'll go from there. How does that sound? Yeah? Okay. So let's go ahead and kind of get January started. Okay, so I set up this one. I was gonna start January, but I realized we're not in January. But luckily there is in December, so this is a great way for me to start seeing how this layout will work. So far after doing this, I actually like this. I don't feel like it's gonna be too crazy trying to upkeep it. So this actually frees up space on my daily pages to not have to put anything workout related, because in my Hobonichi weeks, what I would do is, I was on and off on my fitness planner, but I wanted to keep it in here. And so what I would do is I would just kind of put it on here. But that would mean that I would probably be losing my workout stickers, which I might just still put it on my daily pages. I don't know. I don't really have very many workout stickers anymore, so we shall see how that pans out. But yeah, so far I do love how it looks. At first I was going to label this right here workout. I'm not going to do that just in case I change my mind mid-year and decide to track something else. That way, because I've done it in the past where I would label this and then I decided not to do that, and so I had to white it out and I just didn't like the look of it. So I think I'm just going to keep it as is and not label it. This is where I'm going to label it. And so as you can see, I just used this, I just kind of did a divider right here where I kept like this horizontal space to be able to write down the workouts that I'm doing. And then I kept 4 boxes where I separated by, like, if I'm drinking tea, because that's something that I enjoy and I need to start drinking more tea. And if I completed my fasting, if I did get enough water, and if we did like a bike ride or walking, which we tend to do a lot of bike riding over the spring and summer and fall, as long as it's not too cold. Winter, we don't do much bike riding because it's way too cold and we don't have the tires for that, but we usually try to walk on top of working out. And walking is like 10-20 minutes after we eat our meal, and so we just haven't been doing that. It's just been really cold, but this is a great visual, so I am actually enjoying this little layout that I did for this yearly overview. Okay, so if we go into our monthly, now I said, so this is December. I'm still in my Hobonichi week, so I'm not going to be doing anything for 2025 December because I'm in my Hobonichi weeks. But I feel like that could be great, the monthly spread that I can use for my swatching. Let me see what the monthly, how many months we get. November, December. Okay, yes, because this one, January 2027, I'm going to be using it for our 2026 Advent activities. So that's going to be that. So this is going to be for my swatching. So I will go ahead and get that set up and I will start swatching. Okay, so we went ahead and did our ink swatching page. Now I went ahead and chose December. And so I did a little sticker. And see, it's because my hands sweat. Like, it's just, that's the reason why I always have a pencil board. But yeah, it's just, ink is not safe around my fingers. So I actually have to have like a little handkerchief nearby so I can wipe my hands, which I usually do, but I don't have it with me today. So it smeared a little bit, but I went ahead and just kind of decorated a little bit, covered up the December. I was gonna maybe white out the Monday, Tuesday, but you know what, it's fine. And so far I went ahead and swatched the pens that I'm currently using. And as you can see, there is just ghosting, but no bleed through, which is nice. And then I did my fountain pen ink, and again, it's just kind of ghosting, so not too bad. So glad I have that done. And you know, it's like one of those things where it's like you gotta break the seal. So when I actually started doing this page, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and put ink down. So now it's like, once that first page was done, I was like, okay, I can start. Like, I'm not like nervous to put ink down on paper, which I'm not really nervous, but okay. And so for January, I'm not going to set that up until January comes around. Same thing with this one. And again, we're not going to do much of that, but I do want to see how it would look if I would set up my pages. Now let's see if I have enough. Do I have enough? Because I know I want to. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So I do have enough pages. Now I know I wrote down things that I would want to, but I think I could consolidate all this onto just one page for back and front, which then allows me to use this as a cover page. So I have like a cover page where I could put like, so I can kind of decorate that, and then my, the months will start right here. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and just do one page and see how it looks there, and then we'll go from there. I'm really liking this color right now, so I think I'm just gonna stick with this one. Oh wait, before I do that, I probably should count my lines. And so what I'm probably, and what I like about this, because in my Hobonichi weeks it was just plain paper, so I had to use a ruler and like space it out. But now that I have this grid, it's a lot easier. So let us go ahead and do that. I think there's 31 days in January, so I'm just gonna start from the bottom here and probably start on maybe right here. So 31. Okay, so I mean, I didn't have to start so low, but that's okay. That gives me a little bit more header room over here. And I don't know if I need to like draw lines. I don't think so, because we already have the grid. So let's just leave it as is. And then let us go ahead. Do I draw it or do I stamp it? Or do I put sticker letters? Because I could put January. I can either draw it or I can put the stickers. What to do? Do we want to do stickers? Or do we want to stamp it? Like, we could do our ransom note sticker book. What do you guys think? You know what? Let's you know what? Let's do the stickers. Why not? Okay, I'm actually kind of glad I did the stickers. Now, as you saw, I actually did the first and last letters first. That way, it'll determine the sizes for the middle, just because I don't know how much space I would have. So it actually worked out really, really, really well. I absolutely love that, and I probably might stamp this little stamp right here, which I should probably test this ink too, huh? Let's go back to our ink swatch. I want to do a different stamp, something super pretty. Let's do this. Okay, so it's just ghosting, so let me go ahead and write this. This is the Okay. So a little bit of ghosting, but not too bad. Okay, where were we? Okay. So let's go ahead and put this right here. Cute. Okay. I think that came out really good. That would be a great way for me to log in our movies. And so what I'll probably do here is going to be our cover page. I'll put like TV shows and movies, or movies and TV shows 2025 list, blah, 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 blah. I'll probably do that off camera just so I can kind of think it out and see exactly how I want it to look. But this is how it's going to look as far as my media or TV movie section. And then yeah, and that's pretty much it. Yay. Okay, I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I will probably do the setup for January probably towards the end of like the last week of December. So I'll probably film that for you guys when that time comes, but I kind of wanted to get the ball rolling when it comes to how this was going to be set up. And I absolutely love super simple, not too crazy. I'm not tracking too many things like I used to, and that's one thing that I've learned in my Hobonichi weeks is there are certain things in my life that I just have to keep it simple, and that it's okay to not have to track everything and anything. So yay. All right, so I think that is pretty much it when it comes to setting up my 2026. And like I had mentioned, I will be doing a little bit more setup when it's a little bit closer, just because I'm still in my Hobonichi week, so I'm not like too pressed to get it done. But at least I know exactly what I'm going to be doing for each section, and it's just more now just kind of waiting for January 1 to start. Now, moving forward, I feel like the A6, now I don't know if I'll be in the Hobonichi weeks again, never say never, but I do have that option. But like I had mentioned, going forward, my plans for myself when it comes to stationery and notebooks is that I will not be doing a it's a no buy for me as far as stationery. When I say no buy for stationery, I mean no more notebooks, no more fountain pens, no more inks, dare I say no more stickers and no more washi tape, because like I said, my goals for 2026 is to draw, and so that is what I really want to practice. And so I don't want to rely too much on stickers. I'm still going to be using my stickers throughout the year because I have a ton, so I'm still going to be utilizing my stickers, but I don't need to bring in any more stickers. So again, I'm not going to be doing that anymore. And when I say no buy, like if my inks run out as far as like my pens or my markers, because I will be drawing a little bit more, and if I have to get that replaced, that is an exception for my rule, as long as, like, say if this purple marker that I really like using, I no longer have the ink for it, then I will purchase that. So it's only down to like necessities if I need to refill something. And then accessories, yeah, I'm actually, you know, I always love accessorizing my stuff, so that's something that I'm not doing a no buy, more like a low buy, and being intentional about my purchases when it comes to like accessories, like, you know, folders or like charms or whatever that case may be. But as far as like the main things like washi tape, stickers, pens, inks, fountain pens, those are the ones. Wooden stamps, I don't need any more wooden stamps, unless there's like a certain stamp that I need, like a saying or a label or what. There will also be an exception for that, but again, it's going to be super intentional and super thought out. And when it comes to like the years after 2026, I feel like I don't need to buy a planner to journal anymore. It's crazy to say this because I always felt like I had to have dates on my planner. So I had to get like a Hobonichi or like an MD, something that's dated to say that it's 2026. But now I don't have that thought process anymore. And I feel like I can journal in any notebook, in a plain notebook. And I have plenty of notebooks sitting on my shelf as I'm looking at this, as I say that. So going forward, I don't see myself purchasing a 2027 planner at all. So because I have, you know, my sketchbooks, I have all these notebooks that I can utilize for my journaling. And so that's going to be the case. And if I do want some structure, I have plenty of old Hobonichi Weeks, and I have plenty of A6 Techos and MD one day, one page planners from previous years that are untouched, that I can utilize for the years coming. So that is my main goal, is not to buy another dated planner, notebooks, unless I need another sketchbook, because I'm using my sketchbooks, because like I had mentioned, 2026 is the year of creativity for me. I will be creating, drawing, practicing my art skills. So that is what I'm going with for 2026 and going forward. I think I have plenty of resources sitting on my shelves right now. So I am looking forward to not spending any money for 2026. So let's see how that goes. But I think that is pretty much it when it comes to my setup for 2026. I hope you enjoyed this little video and kind of like the insight of where or how it came to be when it comes to my 2025 journaling and my future plans for 2026 and beyond. And we'll see. I mean, I'm putting it out in the universe. I am setting my intention, and we'll go from there. And then hopefully too that, you know, I can attend some like stationery events. Usually I don't have a lot of stationery events nearby. I think the closest is Chicago, and recently they started the Stationery Fest. So I'm hoping that I can attend to 2026 Stationery Fest. We will see, because Chicago is not too far away from where we're at. We're literally less than 3 hours away, about like 2 hours and 40 minutes away, and literally 2 hours of that is sitting in Chicago traffic. So yeah, so hopefully that will, I'm putting it out in the universe that I will be able to do that in the future. So that's where my stationery money will go, is to events. But then again, I'm not trying to buy anything I don't need, and so I don't even know if going to the Stationery Fest I know it will for sure make me want to buy stationery. So I don't know. It's like a catch-22. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little setup and my little insight on the process for 2026 and how I came about for 2026 and how 2025 is going. I'll do another video. We'll do a whole yearly wrap up later on this this month, and then of course the actual setup for January, in that first week of January. So, okay. If you guys made it this far, thank you so much for hanging out with me and hearing me talk about my journal. And I will see you guys in the next one. And it should be this year, not next year. So I'll leave that saying for the next video. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.